Hello and welcome to the Gen 10 Theater. And today we're going to be talking about horror movies and what format were they best on. Now, sometimes you can't get every movie on every format, especially brand new ones. You'll be stuck with things that are within the past, 15, 20 years. They're only going to be on DVD or Blu-ray. An example is this House at the End of the Street. I'm pretty sure I actually got this at Dollar Tree. And if you don't know about Dollar Tree, they tend to have just piles of like off weird horror movies, usually on DVD, but some of them have Blu-rays, and they're the same price, $1.25 now. Sadly, I mean, yeah, they used to be $1, and I used to leave with just a stack of movies for like $10. You got 10 movies, uh, but I tend to avoid collecting them on Blu-ray unless that's the only choice. They do have a lot of older ones. For an example, when I went to go try to find something to show, I saw it, and I was like, okay, let me pull that one out, and I checked it, and of course, it was the original version, which I kind of remembered. I wanted to rewatch it so I could watch the new It, so I watched it to watch it. It's quite a way to explain it. You watch it to watch it. It was good. All its were good, and anyway, I think that was the only reason I bought that. I think you had to pay to stream it, and I'm pretty sure I found that either at Dollar Tree or somewhere cheap. But typically, I would go for a VHS. Now, is VHS the best? Well, let's look at the things from back in the day. What formats did you really have to choose from? If you go all the way back, you just had film, and there really wasn't many movies released on film. Yes, I'm sure there was more than I'm aware of, and I've seen some people online playing back old horror movies on film, but for one, you have to have a special projector for that. It's big, it's not going to fit up there on the ceiling like that one, and I don't have it. I do have some films, but I don't have the projector. So film is out the window. So after film, there was really VHS and Betamax. Well, Betamax is really hard to find these days. I've never actually seen one in person, but it's something that I will eventually track down and get into. VHS had some other competitors as time went on. They had Laserdisc and they had CED video disc. Now, if you're not familiar with CED video disc, it's a pretty much vinyl record that played video, but you never touched the vinyl record. You never really saw it. The way it worked is you had these little containers with the movie inside, and you put it in the machine, and the machine would grab it and pull it out, and it would play it all from within. And when you were done, you'd put the casing back in, and the machine would snap it back into place, and you'd pull out the whole thing. So you never really came into contact with it, which is because they were so fragile that if you did touch it, it was pretty much ruined. But the picture quality wasn't great. It was, at best, equal to a VHS, but these days, trying to find a working player and one that, yeah, they did have needles like a record player, so one that has a good stylus that actually won't skip and ruin your movie, it's hard to come across. So that one, it's not the best choice. The other choice you had was Laserdisc. Now, Laserdiscs are about as clean as a DVD. I wouldn't say they are as perfect as a DVD just because they were analog, but they're pretty close. And the problem with Laserdisc is, once again, it's a little more expensive. It didn't sell quite as in mass as, let's say, a VHS. So that leaves us with VHS tapes. And when I'm talking about how cheap you can find a VHS tape, let me find here. Here we go. The Omen and all of its sequels, I picked up for 50 cents a piece. I think the most expensive one I actually have down here was, not that one. Here it is, In Dreams. This one was marked at $2.95. I'm pretty sure with this thrift store I go to, there's a lot of times the shelf will say, 50% off all movies, and then this will be, $1.50. Now, one that I'm questioning what the price actually was, because it has a sticker here that says 25 cents. There's a good chance this was 25 cents. This is Silence of the Lambs, but it is still factory sealed. Now, I'm not really one that collects factory sealed anything because I buy things to watch them, and I couldn't really pass it for 25 cents, but I'm so tempted to open it. It's even got a fancy, red top to it, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to open it just because outside of a couple tears here and there, it's is pretty much brand new. Now, another big benefit to collecting a VHS is just the way things look from the side. Like, I just liked how they used to have pictures. Sometimes it was a copy of the front. Sometimes it had some of the actors on it. Sometimes it was like a continuation, more or less, of the front. Like that's kind of like the end. It's like a focus. So they had different sides. You had logos. It really, when you stack them up, like which one really looks better here? Obviously, it's this one, and it just kind of brings back memories of walking into like a Blockbuster or any old video store, and you walk up to the shelf and you're looking at it. You get probably about as much detail as you do now, but it's just the way that these stand out better than just something like this. Imagine walking up like this compared to like, oh, back in the day you had this. Much better. But that's just the minor details. How about the viewing experience? So like I was saying before, the Laserdisc is very clean. DVDs are very clean, and it just gets cleaner and cleaner. You're going Blu-ray, now you're in high definition. You can have 4K Blu-ray, and it just gets cleaner and cleaner. You can see so much detail, which, yeah, it's a movie. You're supposed to see the detail. But the thing about horror movies is when it's a little fuzzy, maybe a little wobbly, maybe you have a little static coming in from the side. Maybe at just the right moment, it has a little pop noise that happens. Because, yeah, sometimes I don't know if you remember that, sometimes they used to just pop if they got really worn out, if there was something weird on the tape itself. It just adds to the experience. Now, I've watched movies out here there's a big screen here, which if you watch the room tour, you'll see how big it is. I think it's 100-inch or 120 or 150. It's a lot. It's as wide as this room. So yeah, watching one of these on a big screen is great. I mean, as long as your projector's bright enough. This one just kind of cuts it. Some of these movies are a little dark, but there's something about watching it on an old CRT that makes it even better. Now, I don't really mean little tiny, like the ones you give children. I've got a 24-inch one over there with a VCR built into it. And to me, that's the perfect way to watch a horror movie. So what do you think? Leave some comments down there. Tell me, what do you prefer? Do you just stream things? I mean, yeah, I have streamed stuff, especially like the horror stuff that was on Netflix. Haunting at Hill House, Haunting at, what was it, Bry Manor? I don't remember the name at this point. There was some horror series on there, horror movies that came out. Was it Babadook? I think some of them you can actually get on disc now. But I'm even tempted one day, not so much with this movie, but to take a Blu-ray and just record it to a VHS, play it back, see if it makes it better. So let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one.